Directions. Read each question, annotate for important information, and select the best answer choice. Remember to eliminate incorrect answers and provide evidence for the correct answers you chose. You have 35 minutes to take this assessment. Number 1. The coarse focus of the microscope controls A. The rotation of the objective lenses. B. The amount of light that reaches the slide. C. Distance of the objective lenses from the slide. D. The microscope's electrical power. E. The size of the specimen. Number 2. Which of the following statements about the nucleus are true? 1. The nucleus contains the genetic information for the cell. 2. The nucleus protects the cell. 3. The nucleus manufactures proteins for the cell. A. 1 only. B. 3 only. C. 1 and 2 only. D. 1 and 3 only. E. 1, 2, and 3. Questions 3 and 4 refer to the image below. Number 3. Line 3 points to which organelle? A. Vacuole. B. Cell wall. C. Nucleolus. D. Chloroplast. E. Mitochondria. Number 4. Which organelle is responsible for photosynthesis? A. 1. B. 2. C. 3. D. 4. E. The organelle responsible for photosynthesis is not labeled in the image above. Number 5. Which statement about the Golgi apparatus is not true? A. The Golgi apparatus packages proteins. B. The Golgi apparatus can be found suspended in the cytoplasm of the cell. C. The Golgi apparatus digests proteins to create energy for the cell. D. The Golgi apparatus shifts material in and out of the cell. E. The Golgi apparatus is present in both plant and animal cells. Number 6. Jason uses a microscope to examine a sample of cells. He determines they are plant cells because the cells A. Have a regular repeating shape. B. Contain many nuclei in each cell. C. Are large. D. Are colorless. E. Contain a great deal of DNA. 7. You want to compare the masses of two different microscope slides. Which of the following tools would be most helpful? A. Triple beam balance. B. Thermometer. C. Graduated cylinder. D. Electronic balance. E. Ruler. Number 8. Which of the following processes transports substances in and out of cells based on concentration? A. Diffusion. B. Division. C. Mitosis. D. Photosynthesis. E. Meiosis. Number 9. Which of the following is the same as the products of photosynthesis? A. The reactants of photosynthesis. B. The reactants of respiration. C. The products of respiration. D. The catalyst of photosynthesis. E. The products of mitosis. Number 10. A scientist wants to measure the speed at which a round object rolls down a curved ramp. Which combination of tools allows the scientist to measure the speed? A. Meter stick, stopwatch, and a graduated cylinder. B. Graduated cylinder and a stopwatch. C. Stopwatch and tape measure. D. Stopwatch and a meter stick. E. Stopwatch only. Number 11. Which tool would best be used to view the internal structure of a plant cell? A. Hand lenses. B. Telescope. C. Microscope. D. Periscope. Number 12. A cell has a selectively permeable membrane that only allows water to pass in and out of the cell. A student places the cell in a hypertonic solution. meaning the solution has a higher concentration of particles than the cell. What is likely to happen to the cell? A. The cell will gain water and shrink. B. The cell will lose water and shrink. C. The cell will gain water and expand. D. The cell will lose water and expand. E. The cell will gain particles and expand. Number 13. All of the following describe diffusion except A. A process that transports materials through a cell membrane. B. A process that transports materials into or out of a cell. C. Particles moving from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. D. Particles moving from an area of low concentration to an area of high concentration. E. A process that occurs naturally and does not require energy. Number 14. Both glucose and NaCl can pass through a membrane. Which statement describes how the system will change to reach equilibrium? Glucose and NaCl will move towards side A. B. Glucose and NaCl will move towards side B. C. The system is already at equilibrium. D. Glucose will move towards side A and NaCl will move towards side B. E. Glucose will move towards side B and NaCl will move towards side A. Number 15. A starch indicator changes the color of water when starch particles are present. The starch indicator is able to pass through the dialysis membrane, but the starch is not. The beaker is left untouched until the system reaches equilibrium. How will the water inside the cell compare to the water outside of the cell? A. All of the water in the system will change color. B. Outside the cell, the water will be clear, but inside the water will change colors. C. Inside the cell, the water will be clear, but outside the water will change colors. D. All of the water in the system will be clear. Number 16. Which of the following statements about photosynthesis is true? 1. Photosynthesis occurs in mitochondria. 2. Photosynthesis requires sunlight. 3. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants obtain nutrients. A. 2 only. B. 3 only. C. 1 and 2 only. D. 2 and 3 only. E. 1, 2, and 3. Number 17. Which of the following is a chemical equation for photosynthesis? Number 18. Which is a product of respiration and a reactant of photosynthesis? A. Carbon. B. Oxygen. C. Glucose. D. Carbon dioxide. E. Hydrogen. Questions 19 and 20 refer to the image below. 19. Which of the following does arrow A represent? A. Oxygen. B. Carbon. C. Carbon dioxide. D. Hydrogen. E. Water. Number 20. Which of the following does arrow B represent? A. O2. B. C. C. CO2. D. H2. E. H2O. Number 21. Which groups of tools would best be used to measure the volume of an irregularly shaped object? A. Meter stick and an electric balance. B. Stopwatch and a meter stick. C. Tape measure. D. Graduated cylinder. E. Triple beam balance. Number 22. Students measured the movement of tectonic plates relative to one another over time by placing markers on either side of a fault. The graph below displays the results. Which dataset was most likely used to create the graph? Number 23. A scientist tracked a flock of birds flying south. Every hour, the scientist recorded how far the flock had traveled from its starting point. The graph below shows this data. Which data set was most likely used to create the graph? Number 24. Viscosity is the resistance of a fluid to moving or changing shape. A scientist conducts an experiment to determine what effect temperature has on the viscosity of a liquid. The data appear in the graph below. Which conclusion does this data most likely support? A. There is no relationship between viscosity and temperature. B. Increasing temperature causes viscosity to increase. C. Decreasing temperature causes viscosity to increase. D. There is a direct relationship between temperature and viscosity. Number 25. The graph shows data regarding gravitational acceleration and latitude. Which cause and effect relationship is represented in this graph? A. As latitude increases, gravitational acceleration increases. B. As latitude increases, gravitational acceleration decreases. C. As latitude decreases, gravitational acceleration is unchanged. D. There is no obvious mathematical relationship. Directions. Read the prompt carefully and be sure to answer all points. The question is worth 5 points. Number 26. Below is a microscopic image of a plant cell. Provide 2 pieces of evidence from the picture to explain why this is a plant cell. Number 27. The cells above are placed in a solution of water and salt. Salt moves from the water into the cell. What does this tell you about the initial concentration of salt in the water and in the cell? Justify your answer.